I love this organisation and this idea of the MLN. I think management and leadership is what it's about now. I think there's a whole gap. There's a demand for leadership, not just in business, but in society and politics and church and everything. But I particularly like the fact that this is a network. I spend a lot of time over and back to the States in networks. I have a great philosophy that's well tried out, and that is that you're the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. So when I meet people and I look at their network, you could almost evaluate, estimate, assess their financial wealth. You can assess their value system, because we hang around as tribes with people who are of similar value to us. And so if you want to raise your game, if you want to play in first division football, you go seek out people who are better than you that you can aspire to and learn from. You don't go the other way to kick ball in the backyard. So the truth is, if we want to up our game, we've got to surround ourselves with those who are as committed, equally committed to their personal development and professional development as we are. And I've watched, because I love to study success in business and sports and life. And the one trait that keeps coming true is that you cannot be a better business person unless you're a better person. You cannot be a better anything unless you develop yourself. And I think the value of events like this is that we are a tribe. And I think managers and leaders and entrepreneurs are unique. I call them heroes. I call them heroes not just because they have organizations and they have staff, and because you guys are doing things that are out there that people look up to you. I call entrepreneurs and managers and leaders heroes because you change the world. You change the world in that we create businesses out of our passions. We see problems and we find solutions. We see gaps in the market that we believe we can use our skill, our abilities, our passions in order to fit. In doing that, we create products or deliver services. And in doing that, we hire people in order to scale and grow and develop. And when we hire people, they pay tax. That tax goes to build our schools, our hospitals, our critical infrastructure, to pay for those who can't or are not able to find work, and for those who have disabilities. All of that is funded by entrepreneurs and people going out creating businesses. And that's what we need in terms of having a balanced and mature and a compassionate society. And it goes hand in hand. And yet, running a business or being a manager is in itself sometimes very lonely, because you're isolated. You can't share, and we're having a conversation with Jonathan Alpine down here, that you can't share your concerns, your weaknesses, your challenges very often with your staff, because you're afraid perhaps you might lose some. You can't certainly explain it or discuss it with your bank manager, because the truth is important but not always appropriate. And so there are levels of the truth. And so, and sometimes you can't even explain that to your spouse and your loved ones, because many of us do not want to burden them with the risk-taking that we do, that others are not as comfortable with. And so it's important to create a network where people can come together. It's long since written about in terms of mastermind groups, in terms of where you can, from the group, you can gain a lot of insights. I think the first thing is that when you get into a room like this, you feel comfortable, because you're with your own. We are a tribe, and we come together. That's what tribes do. It's also important when you come to hear that you gain confidence from the fact that you see other people in the group doing things and implementing strategies that you can learn from. And so it's not just about confidence, it's not just about comfort, but it's about learning. It's about that shared learning of other people's strategies that you can learn from and implement. I think too, it's about collaboration. More and more, it's about the sum of the individual parts. And I know what Fergal has done in Uri, and I know what other people do around the country. When we come together, collectively, we are much more powerful. And I think now, as the country and as economy and businesses are challenged, it is in the collective that we are more powerful. And it is in working together, and it is finding a shared strategy and vision that we can all work towards.